It's an areological, autoerotical, tubular, bovular joy. An exposular, regional, batular, pouchular, fun for girl and boy. A latissimal, dorsical, hung like a horsical, caliphalygical ball.
The most bunular, funnular.
Fruit of the lumula.
Frenchical, tongular.
Wabada, bobular, bunular, fruit of the lubular, Frenchical, tongular, wabada, bobular, hey!
Hey guys, how's the movie?
Oh, it's breastica, bubical, chestica, mammical, pendular, globular.
This is the missing 411 follow, the missing queso follow-up.
Fucking queso.
Our intended secondary co-host just moved a quarter mile up the road last week.
Not even.
And we spoke to him at 10:45 via text, and he said, I didn't think it was until after 11. I have to finish doing laundry. Then he was asleep by 11.
Seriously was.
Yeah.
I blew up his phone. I called him a few times.
Real impressive. I'm fucking wasted, bro. I've had this is the first one, but
that's depression. Because this is the second time Charlie's done this. I mean, queso.
Yeah, it's maybe the third time. I think he's scared I'm gonna roast him. I am, but I'm gonna try. I gotta pull the reins back because I don't want to go in on him too hard. I don't want to piss him off, you know.
Yeah.
Because he is my friend outside the podcast on most days.
That aren't the other days.
I think he's scared. I'm putting it out there. I think he's scared of this. He's scared of me roasting him, and he's scared of losing this fucking video game title. He prides himself on his video game ability.
Yet? That might be a possibility.
Yeah, this is the fourth time he has ducked out of what could potentially be the opening rounds of this video game tournament.
Yeah.
Rich is scared too.
That
goes without saying, though.
I bought Mace: The Dark Ages. I got that for $6. That's one of the ones I definitely wanted.
What is
fighting
that?
Game.
For N64?
For N64, yeah. It's a fighting game. It's kind of a cross between Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat. The controls are really user friendly, but they're kind of clunky. So the moves are user friendly, yeah, but the controls are kind of clunky rather. Characters are awesome though, and I fucking love the characters.
So you paid $6 to have me fuck you up in that. That's going to be worth it to you?
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, actually, pretty much any fighting game. Not Brawlhalla, but all the other fighting games probably someone to fuck me up because
I'm not great at fighting games.
I don't really play many. I'm surprised I like Brawlhalla because I wasn't big in Super Smash Brothers, and that's pretty much what it is, just without Nintendo characters. So
my buddy just whooped my ass in Tekken and then made me play 4 times after that. I'm like, all right, fine. I kept trying to say no, and he's like, come on, one more.
You might win. You won't win.
And then at one point, it was I strung together a 5-hit combo, and he goes, all right. And he kicked my ass extra hard.
That's enough.
After forcing me to play 4 games in a row, I get a little bit of offense, and he's like, all right, serious mode.
I quit.
What the hell, man? I told you I don't want to play. You don't have to snap into Slim Jim mode and fuck me up because I hit you a couple times.
Jesus Christ.
So this is the missing 487 episode, actually, because that many more people have gone missing since the name is not indicative of the amount of people that have gone missing, right?
Well, the amount of people missing in North America, anyway, is around 1,400. That's around the amount of cases. The cases that qualify under whatever, the ones that aren't foul play, aren't animal related, aren't a suicide, purposeful disappearance, just trying to, whatever.
What do you think about, in the first podcast we were talking about the young boy in the 60s or 50s that had rheumatism and his family took him camping, and there was also a different case with an elderly family member. Do you think they could have been left thrown down the river, so to speak?
I suppose it's possible.
Life was tough back then. Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, the problem is no one was found. After the extensive searches that followed, something would be found.
Well, if your family's hiding you, if you're hiding a little kid, I could hide a little kid pretty good.
You'd eat them.
Parts of them. It's like a lobster. You can't eat the whole thing. You can't eat the bones.
What happened to the one they found up on the hill? The last one I talked about during that podcast?
With the lobster?
Only the feet were found? It's like, Ty was here. He fucking ate them.
He doesn't like feet, though. He thinks it's weird.
It's where most of the bacteria on the human body is their feet.
Kills and eats people. Has no respect for foot weirdos.
You keep these.
It's murderous cannibal. Not cool with foot stuff.
Is phobia for feet. Yeah, I suppose, maybe. I don't know. That's the thing with like most of these. I have no idea. That's why I find it so intriguing, because I have no fucking idea.
I looked it up on Wikipedia. I read about the writer, and I read about the book. And Wikipedia, I know it's a contributor.
Yeah.
It's contributor based. I read about that, and they said the missing 411 focuses on high concentrations of people that have been gone missing in certain areas. But yeah, not really. That's pretty much what Wikipedia says.
But yeah, not really.
It's like, yeah, but that's all can be explained by medical emergencies and people falling off of cliffs. And they were like, yeah, but that's not really. It's fine. So Wikipedia kind of shits all over it, but then they go into detail, like the 8 books that the guy has written about it.
Yeah. That's why the thing that that kind of drives me nuts about the guy, Dave Paulides, is he goes on some podcasts and stuff and talks about it.
Oh, yeah?
And that's all right. He goes on a lot that I've listened to. But then he also goes on things like, not Art Bell, but I can't remember the...
People try to get him in a corner?
No, the guy that hosts Coast to Coast AM. You know that show?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The radio show.
Absolutely.
They talk about insane fucking shit. And that to me kind of like devalues his word, or just kind of brings it like down. It's like, lessens its credibility. Because everyone I ever hear call into those, like, oh, I did see a lizard person.
You got to sell the books,
it was
man.
Fighting a yeah, you do.
You know, there's fucking weirdos buying them. That, you know,
fighting a shadow person.
Yeah.
You know, so it's,
it was a goddamn Bigfoot.
yeah,
That
guy.
bullfrog.
Yeah, well, those are the people that call that show. So
Yeah, but you have to sell your fucking wares, you know.
Yeah, I like listening to it for entertainment value, but
If people buy it, it's like if you're a country musician and you're like, I'm sick of these damn toothless hillbillies showing up to my shows. You're like, well, it's people that are buying the CDs, you know, that's weirdos. He's just pandering to his audience, I guess, but that is definitely a mockery of a show. It's great though.
It is great, but boy, is it yeah, you can't take it serious. It's like watching The Onion for fucking your news. I'm like, I can't. So aside from that, there's what I like about the guy is that when he does talk about whatever, he doesn't give his opinion at all. If he does, it's like this very minute kind of blanket thing, just because, in his words, he doesn't want to, I guess, insult the families of the people that are missing. He doesn't want to be like, oh, it's Bigfoot or it's UFOs or anything stupid.
Yeah, you don't
like
want
that.
to be like Alex Jones and insult the Newport families and tell
Return the freaking
you
frog
didn't have any
scary.
kids. Your kids were crisis actors. Sir, my son is dead.
No, you are.
Yeah, that's
The government's a bunch of tyrants.
That's true, that's probably-
Satanist tyrants. Damn it. Jesus.
Got to be honest with you, James. I'm a little retarded.
That was after he caught a bunch of shit for a lot of stuff. What an idiot.
So you think in getting into it, this guy that was a retired detective, correct? Private investigator?
Yeah.
In getting into it, he spoke to a forest
20 years,
ranger. He spoke to a forest ranger that was perplexed by disappearances himself and conveyed his...
He was researching, I can't remember what exactly, if he was researching or he was looking at some other cases, and I just listened to this today too. He just happened to come across a few different cases, that's what it was. He was actually up researching a case up north for a missing person or something like that, and a group of forest rangers actually got a hold of him after the fact and said, listen, there's a bunch of this stuff that's going on that you should know about.
Just recently?
No, when he started this like 10 years ago or whatever it was, when he started writing these books like 5-10 years ago.
After he had started writing the books, this happened?
No, this is before the book.
Oh, right, yeah,
This
okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, people...
Yeah. So they got a hold of him, and they were... they're like, this is what's going on. You should know. So they fill him in on a bunch of like different missing persons reports, and he was kind of fascinated by it. And he was like, "Wow, there's a lot of things that don't make sense." And then he just started digging and research and whatnot, and the rest is history. It was, a lot of things that don't make sense.
Having
clearly.
been in the field that he was gives him an amount of credibility.
Credibility, and I think, credibility towards people like us who, clearly don't have all that training and everything. So, he goes into looking for whatever.
And he has talents as far as being a police officer, investigations and such. It pertains to missing people in the woods.
What I like is he has a lot of connections and stuff with different people. So if he can't, in Canada, outside the Canada, you can't get their list of missing persons report. Or they don't have the same freedom of information act as we do. Mm-hmm. Or they do have the same freedom of information act as we do. But United States citizens or whatever, if you're not a citizen of Canada, you can't get it. So he knows people up there, so they requested to get the same information, and lo and behold, just like in America or United States, they can't get it either. It's like, oh, we don't have a list of missing persons in our national parks. Mm. So that's nice, so that it has those kind of connections, and. Yeah, I guess credibility just.
And his law enforcement talents definitely pertain to what he would be doing in the woods, investigating people going missing in the woods.
Yeah.
So, now I believe that him writing 8 books about this tells that I think he actually thinks that something strange is going on.
He won't say exactly what. He might think it's Bigfoot. Fuck.
He could be just writing 8 books kind of a
people are buying it,
a non-fiction type of or a fiction type of thing.
That's what
it would be ingenious if he had all this skill and was like, oh, I can.
This whole fucking thing is fabricated.
Yeah, it's just stories he writes in the woods.
Because here I am talking about oh fuck.
He's just sipping whiskey in the woods and writing about oh yeah, and then this.
Imagine if this happened.
Just the socks were gone, dude. Their feet.
I wanted to actually touch on. So last time we were talking about this, we talked about a lot of 4 cases that were grounded in reality, just kind of more or less. The beginnings of them were your everyday missing persons thing, but the ending was odd but not crazy. This one, there's a couple of cases off the top of my head that for fucking just what the fuck. Just what the fuck. Some of them aren't missing person cases. Some of them are just experiences in the woods. But there's some crazier shit out there that I've mentioned before. It's there's some other stories that are just what the fuck. What? I talked about the guy doing the backflips through the woods.
That one I've actually thought about several times since then.
That's fucked up.
Not in a corny way. No, in my head, I'm that's weird.
Can you imagine just seeing that I don't know if my brain could process that properly. At least not, especially not standing there. It'd be you're in the middle of a search and rescue with someone else. All of a sudden you look and fucking 60 yards away is a guy just backflipping toward you, missing every fucking branch and log. You're am I seeing this?
That one's definitely the most absurd, laughable one that for some reason still is kind of cool enough.
It's creepy, but fucking ridiculous too. You're because it's ridiculous in the sense that sitting here talking about it, you're what the fuck? But if you were in the woods and did see that, you're what the fuck? Completely different, what the fuck?
The one I thought back to that wasn't impressive to me in hindsight was the one you told me a kid went missing and he appeared on a cliff ledge and then he was pulled back by something out of view.
That one actually, of all of them, made me fucking just my head spin the most.
That just sounds like somebody describing something from a horror movie commercial.
Yeah.
There it is, and gets pulled back
Well, there's some crazier stories that's
somebody. Yeah, what do you got?
There's one. This is more not so much a missing persons report, but this is one about park rangers, or 2 park rangers. These 2 guys that were in a fire watchtower, and they were staying there overnight, and it was at night. They were at the top of a fire watchtower, and they saw something way off in the distance, I don't know if it's a glare or something like that. This is at dusk, not quite night. It was at dusk. So one of them is all right, I'm gonna go check this out to see what it is. So he left, went to check it out. The guy that was still in the tower, he had binoculars, so he zoomed in on it, and he said there was a guy there, and the guy turned around as he zoomed in and just waved to him at the tower. Like, and mind you, they're probably a couple miles away from him. But he just like looked like he just looked directly at him. He said, so that fucking freaked me out. He goes, the thing that was weird is when he waved to him, he disappeared. Not in thin air, he just fucking like walked out of sight. And he said he swore that there was his partner was coming back up the stairs from down below the tower. So he opened the gate, looked down, and it was a woman. It's like some fucking woman.
Hell yeah, it was. She had big titties?
Long, stringy hair.
Tig-o bitties, I bet.
Long, stringy hair. Looks
was
up
it like
at
The
him,
Shining?
Looks up at him, screeches, and just starts fucking booking it up the stairs. He slams the fucking door and radios his friend, which of course can't get a hold of him.
Get back here, I got these crazy bitches. Get booze.
You ever see... he comes back, and there's no one there. And he fucking tells his partner, I was like, listen, dude, this is what fucking happened. So I gave him the rundown of what the fuck he just went through. And he said the guy went over there to look to see what he found, and he said there was like some fucking huge like 10-foot wall or something when he was over there. Now, mind you, when the guy that was still up in the watchtower looked through his binoculars, he said the guy was standing next to a wall, but the wall was at his like fucking waist. Cause like, so when he came back, he's like, yeah, there's all I saw was this huge wall. He's like, there's no way that wall was like 10, 12 feet, whatever it was. There's no way. So that one was just like bizarre. There's a, I think I mentioned the last one. I can't remember if I did or not. If not, the stairs that are randomly always reported in the middle of the woods.
That's pretty weird.
Search and rescuers say that every now and again, sometimes it'll be like 2 miles off a path. Sometimes it'll be in a deep search when they're 15, 20 miles in, and they'll just come across a set of stairs, like almost like it was copied and pasted out of a building and set in the woods. Just a set of stairs, sometimes dilapidated, sometimes brand new, fresh. Never, if like carpet on them, never like dirty, like they're tracked on or anything.
Carpet. Your thing, you always do that. You didn't do it this episode. I had to do it once. You do it in the beginning, so.
Usually.
The beginning. It's my thing now.
Oh. As far as clear cases, there's no huge story to any of them. Like a single story, but one thing that's weird is like every time a forest ranger comes across it, it's never mentioned by anyone. It's never reported. It's never mentioned. And apparently when someone asks about it, there's like, you'll see him. Just get used to it. And just kind of shoved off to the side. Yeah.
And they're gone the next time they're there?
Yeah, and they said, just don't ever go up them.
Oh, yeah?
Don't touch them. Don't, like...
I've heard said that
which is fucking
pilots
weird.
and such will say that, everybody's got a story like that. If you talk to, like, any commercial airliner pilot that's logged over a million miles, it'd be like everybody's just, flown by some orb that's in the fucking air. It could be electricity or whatever. Everybody has an inexplicable story.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I've that's actually going way back. That was one of the stories that got me intrigued into really looking into like different fucking forest ranger stories, and which led into the missing 411
Have you ever heard
cases.
that ghosts may walk through walls because they don't abide by the present blueprint of the house that is on the lot? Like if there was a house here before and a ghost walked through the wall, maybe that ghost doesn't...
was a door right there.
Mm-hmm. So if the ghost walked through that part of the wall, maybe 30 years ago, that ghost was able to do that.
Maybe.
You've also never seen a ghost walk into a wall, though, so they can probably just do whatever
I'm
they want.
hard pressed. It's like ghost is one of those things where it's like...
I've been thinking about this missing 411 thing over time, and my attention, the Bigfoot, gets less credence as time goes by. Aliens keep the same amount, and I've also been thinking the government, that would be a perfect place to jack people in the woods, because if you jack people in the city, they'll be crazy and think they got abducted by aliens. If it happens in the woods, they don't know what happens.
I have one case here, which eventually I'll get to, which is really fucking bizarre. before I get to that, though, today I went up to Lake Placid, which ultimately...
It's a long way from Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, it's about 3 days
You
walk.
flew back? Yeah.
Parasailing, paragliding with a boat across the river.
Paragliding with a boat.
Yeah. We flew in against the wind.
Against the wind.
Yep.
We're running against the wind.
No, we weren't running. We were definitely flying, floating, like gliding.
I'm going for the Bob Seger hair. I decided. I saw it today on my Sirius.
Yeah?
I'm pretty close to it. He's got
Alright.
the same gray and everything. I abandoned the Clapton thing, and Kenny Loggins is not really for me.
We went up to
Lake Placid.
we went up to Lake Placid and we went hiking up there. Which throughout this podcast, there's going to be and has been just videos of the hike and just kind of moseying around up in the woods up there. We went to the high peaks, or where the high peaks start in northern Georgia. So on our way back, I was listening to more 411 stuff.
In the woods. It's not spooky enough. You're listening to this weird shit while you're walking through the woods. The little girl's intestines were strung through the trees, and you're looking around like, wow, it could have been these trees.
Well, one of the cases happened at Lake Placid, right where we were.
Was that with the alligator and LL Cool J, or was that a movie?
No, that was that was two different movies.
Yeah. What was the other one? Lake Placid and
Deep Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah, LL Cool J.
He
Yeah.
was a chef. One was up in Lake Placid where a boy went missing, and dogs. They brought in canines, bloodhounds. They actually tracked the boy around. Now this is only over one day. They tracked the boy completely around the lake, up over 3 mountain faces, and found him alive
Over mountains.
in the middle of a swamp. There's no fucking way he could have traveled that far, and he's only like 4, in one day over all of that.
If he's smart enough to climb over 3 mountains, but then he's like, I'm just gonna walk right through this swamp.
And when we were up there, I kept telling everyone on our group chat, I said I'm doing field research. So I went hiking 2 different days. The last 2 days, I went on 2 different hikes, and we brought my daughter. She's 2.5, and we let her walk.
Used her as bait. Smart.
And I actually told Amanda
Smart.
that when we were listening to the Lake Placid one, she just turns and looks at me. I go, I had to use you as bait.
Just let her walk 50 yards ahead. Shut up.
Yeah,
Shut up.
just turn around. Now look,
She'll be fine.
she's still there.
Just close your eyes for 10 seconds. Maybe she'll.
She's turning into a beautiful butterfly.
A phoenix.
So
A bird.
we we let her walk through some of them. She made it maybe generously, I'll say half a mile before she was completely dead tired and didn't want to go anymore. And she's a 2.5-year-old. Anyone who has any kids or anyone who has been around any kids know how much fucking energy they have. There's no way. And one of the cases we were talking about before was that 2-year-old that disappeared.
Went disappeared.
Went-
Gone.
She was gone. She left. She was there, and then she wasn't there.
I usually know what, but this time I don't even know what incarnation.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Must be anyway. Yeah, the kid that disappeared and reappeared or was found 19 miles away over 3 days.
Up significant mountains.
Yes.
So
3 days. That was 19 air miles. So
if it was a movie, it would have been a wolf carrying it through the woods and teaching it the ways of the pack and such.
right, that was 19 air miles. So figure on the ground that's probably 24.
Was the child repeatedly raped? It could have been a hiker or a prison convict that just picked the kid up like a use it like a jerk off sock through the adventure in the woods.
No. There's people that automatically go to like a lot of different things.
I read
crazy and sometimes not, but one of them is like, well, it could just be like a group, and you mentioned it before. That was one of your first
people on mushrooms are like, look at this kid, and they travel up 3 mountains on mushrooms. And like, what the fuck do we do with this kid?
I don't want it.
Put it in the swamp.
Yeah. Well, you said, well, it could be like a group of crazies or something.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it would have to be a group of crazies would be like an isolated incident. Now this is over Canada.
No, I said a House of a Thousand Corpses type scenario.
Okay, but that's still over Canada, over complete coast and
There's weirdos
Western
in
New
Canada
York,
too,
all
eh?
from Florida all the way up through.
It's the Cubans in Florida and the villainous criminal Mexicans down by the south part of the USA. We established that already.
And then there's also Iceland, Indonesia, Australia.
Well, Indonesia's all savages. Australia's all convicts. Iceland is just too white to even. I mean, they say you can't get white enough, but they're probably too white over there.
Saying they're
too
racist?
much of a good thing.
Are you saying they're mildly racist?
No, I'm saying it's too much of a good thing. They're too white, so there's weird shit going on over there.
Oh, too much.
But yeah, Indonesia. Oh, I don't even know how you would consider that a country. Have you even met anybody from there? I don't even think they wear shoes over there.
No, I'm not wearing. You're not either.
I think the president wears coconut shoes, probably.
I like coconuts.
Fuck Indonesia.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so that was my field study, just out of curiosity to see how far my daughter would go, and both times.
See if she disappeared or not.
She didn't last too long, and she ended up back in the pack.
Did you duct tape beef jerky to her back to see if a fucking Sasquatch would snatch her?
No, but I put it
You ought to.
I put it on Amanda's back. She didn't know. Now she does.
Oh, the cats are sleeping next to her tonight. They like me so much.
Yes. So yeah, that's something I kind of already figured anyway. Like, there's no way a 2-year-old could go that far. But
What else did your field research entail?
we were just to see if we disappeared.
Yeah.
We didn't. I can tell you what though, it makes you kind of like widen your eyes a little bit when you're walking through the woods.
You have to teach me how to use this equipment so when you do disappear, ultimately, I can film the ultimate follow-up. Because I don't know how to use this shit, and if you disappear, we got to do a follow-up episode. Like, James is gone, y'all.
Yeah, I'll reappear in a few months or something like that. Somewhere.
Yeah, wearing somebody else's clothes.
Wearing somebody else's clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know. But,
Is this just like a long game to just kill Amanda in the woods one day?
just something that...
Like, you're disguising your research on how to hide her body as like, he was always into the missing 411 and he was always researching things like this, and so you can field any question the FBI throws at you, like, have you read this book? God damn it, we can't crack him.
Listen, in the Missing 401 Volume 4.
Is it in that lab? The Missing Redheaded Girlfriend, Volume 1 is going to be my first book.
How many of those are there?
Well, one from the one I'm going to be writing about.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Charlie's jokes always, so I'm going to have to hide the body again.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Just push it off on him. He deserves it for fucking 411ing on this podcast.
Yeah, for being a joke.
Yeah.
Doing laundry at 10:45 at night.
Yeah, oh, I gotta do laundry. I'll be right over. 11 o'clock, right? Sure.
What do you think he was playing?
The remastered Final Fantasy VII, I think, is coming out.
Oh, jeez. What if he was watching something? What do you think he was watching? Like Triple X?
Strategy guide.
He was watching Fast 4.
Final Fantasy strategy guide.
Yeah.
He's listening to the
Final Fantasy fanfic.
audio tape.
Who are even the characters in Final Fantasy? I don't care. Never mind. Let's talk about the Missing 411. What the fuck?
I can't remember.
Final Fantasy.
Fucking sidetrack. This is a case that there was a lot to it. There's just a lot of details in it, but I just went through and kind of jotted the most important things down. This is June 14th, 1964, Smoky Mountain National Park. Dennis Martin is the boy's name. He was on a camping trip with his father and grandfather. It was 2 boys, him and his brother, and his father and grandfather.
It's funny, this doesn't sound like a boy's name anymore. Like, this is little Dennis. Now it sounds, Dennis is that older guy, you know?
Yeah. They were on a Father's Day trip. In Smoky Mountain National Park.
June Father's
14th.
Day, June checks out.
Yeah. You sure? Good.
Yeah, pretty sure.
All right. Yeah, so they're in Smoky Mountain National Park. Where they were staying is right next to the Appalachian Trail. The family's set up. The two boys are playing. A second family, whose also last name is Martin, which is a...
Coincidence?
Yeah. What are the chances, though?
There was not a lot of last names back then.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 8.
Yeah. They were just first names. Martin.
Yeah. Second family meets up with them, and they have one boy of their own, so they're like, just
Let's breed the boys.
That's right. So they tried.
Play, yeah.
They tried. So the boys started playing hide and seek. The father to Dennis Martin says he was sitting down. Couldn't have been more than 50 or 60 feet away from Dennis, and he watched him hide behind a bush. So the game's over. The boys come out, and Dennis doesn't come out. Father goes and checks behind the bush. He's not there. Says he gets this awful feeling, like right off the bat. He said something like terrible has happened. Like something's like completely not right. This is at like 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. The father freaks out, runs down the Appalachian Trail, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, looking as the rest of them look around where they were playing hide and seek. Doesn't find anything. Comes back. About the same time that this is going on, another family enters the park and asks a couple park rangers where they can go to a place where they can spot bears. It's a couple and their young son, 12 years old. The park ranger says if you go to Rollins Creek, there's a lot of wildlife there, so you can go there. This family, their last name is a Key family. The ranger directs them to Rollins Creek. The family parks their car and starts walking up the valley toward where this creek is. 12-year-old spots something up on a hill and says he thinks it's a bear. About that same time that he spots with the bear, the family says they heard what they describe as an earth-shattering scream. The father looks up the hill and says, I don't think that's a bear, it looks more like a man. Now, at the top of the hill, this thing is like kind of veering in between trees and whatnot, trying to stay undetected, but it's clear to see. So they see that, they lose sight of it, and they're like, okay, well, whatever, and they go back to their car and leave. Meanwhile, they start searching. They bring in a search party for the boy up there. The next day, there's helicopters and whatnot going in. They already have sweeps and whatnot going on, looking for this boy. 2 helicopters come in. They're Green Beret, and they set up. So as they're setting up, the regular search party that's already up there says they request, it's like, well, why don't your guys come with our guys, and we'll show you what we've searched, what we've done, so then you can pick up and leave, whatever. The Army says no. They decline their effort to hook up with them to assist them in the search, and ultimately they set up their own camp with their own communications, and they don't work with the existing search party up there at all.
So there's 2 different search parties going on?
Yeah. The FBI sends an agent to monitor the case, but the FBI doesn't think that it's a crime. That is, they think no crime has been committed. So as they're monitoring the case and whatnot, the family sees the next day in the paper that there's a article about the boy that's gone missing, and they see what time it's happened. The Key family's like, well, that happened about the same time as we saw that. Maybe it has something to do with it. So they get a hold of the Army that's talking, or that's searching, and they say, listen, this has happened. Or not the Army, the FBI. They said, this is what we saw. Do you want us to go back? We can, show you exactly where we saw it. The FBI says, no, don't bother coming back to the park. We'll meet you at your house or meet us halfway somewhere. Don't come back. In any investigation that any cops do anywhere, wouldn't you want some people that have seen something to show you exactly where they saw, where they were standing, what happened?
It's the FBI, though. Maybe they didn't want to draw attention to the area, or maybe they wanted to
but why?
Maintain the effort.
There's already a shit ton of attention there.
Maintain the ability to cover it up because they're the FBI. Leave it under wraps.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so they get a hold of them. They say, no, don't bother. The FBI are the ones that are reporting to the media at the same time. So they put in their report that they had talked to whoever, and they left out everything that the Key family had previously had already told them what they saw. They left that out in the report. Well, the Key family, I think the Key family ended up getting a hold of the family of the missing children.
Martine family?
And they said, listen, this is what we have, and this is what we saw at the same time. I don't know why they're not reporting it. Well, the Martin family said, or the Key family told the Martin family they're leaving a bunch of details out of their reports, which obviously would infuriate the Martin family, especially the father, the boy that went missing.
Mark Martin.
Mark. One of the things that was never mentioned in the paper was that the thing that they saw up on the hill, what they told the FBI, the Key family, is whatever was up on the top of the hill had something over its shoulders before they lost sight of it in the woods and then left. But again, they didn't think anything of it before everything happened. Boy was never found. David Pilates eventually got a hold of the Martin family, obviously years later, and he had questions and stuff, but he's really careful about the questions he asks. He obviously doesn't want to be disrespectful or anything. Yeah. And he got a hold of them, and the family said, the father said, listen, we've already come to the realization we lost our boy. He's not coming back. We just kind of left it in the past and want to move on. David is like, listen, I've traveled from the West Coast. I've traveled 3,000 miles. Can I at least ask you a couple questions? So they ended up chatting and whatnot. And that's when he's told David about the stuff that's there's a lot of things that they're leaving out of their reports, a lot of things that they didn't mention to the media, that things that wasn't covered. And that's one of the cases that David put in, I think it's volume 3 or 4.
Now the Key family had seen a human-sized. It was just shaped like a human-sized person with something over his shoulder.
At least in this, they didn't specify. It was
a feasible.
It was something that was human-ish size, because when the 12-year-old said, "Hey, I think it's a bear," and the father was like, "No, I think that's a man."
So it was a feasible distance from the disappearance of the kid that it could be somebody.
Well, that's it. That's just it too. Is when. All right.
So when the point of interest is, why would the FBI not be interested in this or try to bury it away?
The Key family got a hold of Martin family. What they did was the FBI kept saying, "Listen, the times that this thing happened and that thing happened, they don't match," and they did match. So what they did was actually the families went back and tried to retrace the steps in between to when the child went missing and when they saw whatever was up on the hill. And they said, "Let's just kind of rush through it and see if we can do it." Well, it was very doable. In between the times that the child went missing and they saw that on the hill, it was very doable on foot. So what the FBI said, or what the Army said, it's well, no, the times don't match.
You know what I think? I think it was the fucking Green Berets. You mentioned them once, they don't have a stance on it, and the fucking French are assholes. So, right?
Maybe it is. Rambo is a Green Beret.
Yeah, he's French. Stallone's a French name.
Oh, yeah. That is French.
They called him the Italian Stallion, ironically. It's a comedy thing.
French are assholes.
So that would be the FBI would be withholding information for some reason. If it was doable, why would they do that?
That's just it. There's one thing that was always brought up in a lot of these cases, is something about the weather. They say a lot of these, when someone goes missing right after inclement weather hits, whether it be rain, snow, whatever. And
the government creating weather.
HARP. And this one,
if people are blacking out, it's not Bigfoot putting people under mass hypnosis. It's the government blacking people out.
Blacking out, that's another one. But this one, after the child disappeared, the next day or that night, 8:30. It was is the child disappeared at 4:30 p.m. At about 8:30 p.m. they had like massive rain hit, enough to where by midnight it had been like 2.5 inches of rain, and that kept up for about a week after, like 4 or 5 days.
What's the implied what's the?
It just makes the search that much more difficult.
So
especially
why is
if
it
it's
even
in
worth
the winter?
mentioning? Why would there be a
Because it happens more often than not.
But why could it be happening?
I have no idea, and he doesn't either.
Government
It's
controlled
just
weather.
it's just one of those things. It's just it's like, how big of a coincidence could it be? Maybe it's just they're that unlucky.
So if you wanted a person, right? You want to just snatch one up and grab it, do whatever you want with it, race it, keep it in your garage, do government tests on it maybe. What you'd want to do is get one right from the edge of where people usually disappear a lot. And if somebody disappears somewhere a lot, make them disappear from that spot. Don't pluck them out of their house or out of the sidewalk or out of the parking lot. Go to where people go missing all the time and go, you come with me.
But there's been disappearances right in suburbs and in cities. Same thing, where they're just unexplained. There's one case where a guy went jogging, jogs all the time along this whatever route he takes, and he was jogging next to, like in LA when they have the river that's like fucking
Terminator?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's all you have to say, bro.
Right. Either that or GTA 5.
Yeah.
Well, jogging along there, that was part of his route, and he disappeared one morning. Never made it to work, so his job got a hold of like whoever he knows and said, "Listen, he didn't come in." And then he's upstanding, so he's not one of these.
He was
like,
jogging to work.
No, before
Okay.
work. It was like 5:30 in the morning, something like that, 6. So he never showed up to work, and he's not one to do that. Maybe it was like a couple days later, he was found in reeds, face down in the water, but in an area where it would be easily spottable from anywhere around. It's one of those, and there was no evidence of foul play. There was no. This is another one where his like socks and his pants or shorts, whatever he had, was missing.
Nice.
But so that's why I instantly thought of you,
Well,
fucker.
That's a bit of a trek for me.
Yeah. Well, it is a long way away.
The Appalachian Trail is connected. It's the Cubans. If it was in Florida, man, they know how to kill you without even have any foul play at all.
Ilion, huh?
Yeah.
Man, this is payback.
I mean, I respect all people, but the Cubans are godless savages that ravage the state of Florida like
about
a
the
goddamn
Indonesians?
disease. They're like the modern day Genghis Khan. The fucking Cubans. Cubans. That's what that movie Scarface is about. Cubans. They're all like that.
Drug lords?
Their food's good though. Cuban sandwich is pretty good. That's the only good thing that's ever come out of the country.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna end up getting stabbed in the face.
Probably.
You don't see Cubans going missing in the woods. They don't hike.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe they're smarter than us. Because I sure as hell was hiking.
They got chupacabras down there in Cuba.
Goat suckers.
Skinwalkers, perhaps. What are the kind of cases you got for this 411 thing? I'll tell you one I read about in some of my 411 research. A woman ran and jumped off a cliff, or fell off a cliff or something. She fell off a cliff, and then they found her, and she had been like raped while she was in the air or something. Like after she was dead.
No, but that does remind me of.
No, seriously, I
another
read that. It was real
one. Raped
stupid.
in the air.
And somebody's conclusion.
That's a fucking
somebody's
coast to
conclusion
coast.
was like, well, I just think that was a hiker that found her and had some naughty fun.
Probably.
Like, that's naughty fun. Like, that's different than naughty fun. That's horrific, ghoulish behavior.
There's one story of a hiker that was climbing up the face of a mountain. When he got there was a guy in a poncho, he said, standing at the top of the mountain, and he shot him a greeting. He was like, right in front of him, meeting the wall away, a good 10, 15 feet. Shot him a greeting. It's like, hey, how's it going? He said the guy turned around, had no fucking face.
Of course.
So the guy freaked out, started going back down the mountainside, rushing down. He actually ended up falling.
Guy with no face, I'd freak the fuck out.
Falling and breaking his leg.
I bet he did.
That wasn't the freaky part.
I'd keep running on it.
The freaky part was when he was at the bottom.
He had no face?
Laying there. He said the whole night he could hear the guy screaming coming down the mountain.
With no mouth, the guy just would keep screaming.
Yeah.
So do you think he spent 6 hours just slowly walking down the mountain? Like what happened when he got there, when the screaming got close enough to see the guy?
Raped him.
With no face?
Oh, boy.
Didn't have to look him in the eyes anyway.
Well, that's true.
Wow.
Be less scary. Less damaging. Long term.
I don't know.
The eyes are the window of the soul.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
No face. I don't like that.
It's like the cover of every generic metal album nowadays. Now they're coming to life and raping us while we hike.
You ever see the woman that got her face ripped off by a fucking orangutan?
You ever see the guy that got his face eaten by the guy on his bath salts?
No.
There's a homeless guy.
Yes.
And he survived.
Yes. Yes. And
it was like the first case of bath
people
salts.
say like,
Fuck.
somebody should tell these people what they look like. And like Oprah had that woman on the show when she was like midway through her horrible constructive surgery, and she had just big bags of skin on her face and big chunks of shit, and she was blind and had no eyes and shit, and like everybody's like, wow, she's so brave, and Oprah's like, oh, you're such a hero, but like, no, you people are seeing this on a 30-second commercial going, oh my god, what kind of fucking freak show is this? I gotta watch Oprah for 10 minutes today, like exploiting that poor lady who has no idea how horrific she looks and is probably doesn't blame the orangutan that tore her face off, you know.
It's our fault for watching The Prisoner of Animals.
Yeah, it's a modern day Bigfoot, the orangutan.
Really is. Well, yeah. What would you do with Bigfoot if you caught it?
I wouldn't catch him. He's 7 feet tall. If I had a Bigfoot in a cage, like if it just appeared in my basement in a cage, I would be super scared that the FBI would come find me. I might just kill it and burn it, eat it. I'd eat it.
You'd
sell
eat
it to weird Japanese businessmen, tell them to make jerky out of it, tell them it makes your dick hard.
You bird the idea.
Make your dick very hard. $5 million. $5 million. Then they go, oh.
So you'd kill it and burn it and eat it.
And sell it to
the Asians.
Super stereotypical, hurtfully accurate Asians. Yeah. No, what's the scenario? I have a Bigfoot in a cage in my basement. It's just there.
Here's a scenario.
Obviously,
I'd
like
you won't go hiking anymore, so.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, okay.
Just not at night.
You're out hiking.
Or in the woods, like in a mall. I'll go hiking, or like at a water park.
I'll hike to the vending machine.
Yeah.
You're hiking in the middle of the woods. Where I was today in Georgia, Atlanta.
By the beach, boy.
Yeah, right by there. You look behind you. It's a goddamn Bigfoot.
Goddamn bullfrog. That's a goddamn Bigfoot.
See something cross your path, maybe 50 yards up. Just kind of flash across. Don't think anything of it. Keep walking up, and then right to your right. I'm trying to stay serious. I just can't. I don't know why every time I talk about a Bigfoot, all of a sudden they're like, that kind of voice comes out. It's like, it's just...
I was deep in the mountains. I mean deep.
Were you deep in the mountains, or were you deep in...
I was mounting the mountains just about. I'm so deep in them. Up to my waders. So if a Bigfoot was on the path...
And then you saw it and just stared at you. At that moment, what would you do?
So I don't capture it. I would...
Would you run? But what if what if it chased after you?
I'd freeze and maybe like be like, ah. I'd try to stand up on my tippy toes and be like, oh, look how tall I am. I'd try to scare it away like how you scare a bear away. I'd probably not even...
What if it challenged you if he did that?
I'd like to think I'd freeze. The best I could hope for was to not run. I'd hope I would just freeze in terror and like not have my heart explode. I don't know, man. It can't be a coin flip, you know?
Really, I think it would be a spur of the moment thing. Like I always carried.
Whatever mood you're in, I could run at it, run away. I could cry. I could cry or kill it. I'm a lot of different people. I only wear one hat, but underneath the hat, there's a lot of different hats in my head that go on. So I don't know how.
Sometimes I'm Einstein. Sometimes I'm Elephant Boy.
That's true.
Sometimes I'm a chemist. Sometimes I'm a plumber.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would definitely be scared as fuck. The thing will kill you.
I always carry, whenever I go hiking, I got like a bunch of different gear on me, striker, flint, but I have this knife that's on a chain, on a survival thing around my.
So when Bigfoot takes a knife away, he won't be able to. He'll have to rip your whole arm off to get it from you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's on a chain, so
I could.
So he can swing you around like Jason Voorhees and just fucking slam you from side to side. Yeah, that's good. Dude, that's genius.
So if anything happens, I could just flick my finger and the blade comes out and go, "Let's dance, fucker."
If Amanda runs faster than you, you can throw the chain at her like a bolo and wrap it around her ankles and keep going.
I would charge the fucker with my knife.
You say that now, but you don't know.
No, I don't know. But boy, out of curiosity, because I'd really love to.
Fight the Bigfoot?
I would fight the Bigfoot.
He's like 7 feet tall though, and what's he gonna do with the chain? Like you swing it at him?
But I'm like the Undertaker, and he's Giant Gonzalez.
You're gonna give him the big boot?
Yep, the big boot. I'm gonna give him a flying clothesline, a lariat.
I don't know about your chance against Bigfoot, man.
What if he sells?
Would you try to like choke him out, or would you straight up try to kill him just so you have his corpse?
Well, I choke him out.
Yeah, you want to keep him alive?
Yeah, test mission.
Would you sell him, or would you keep him for a while?
I'd probably sell him.
I'd be scared of selling him. The government would just fucking kill me and take him or something.
Whatever. It's too much maintenance.
Yeah, they probably shit a lot. They eat little kids, so you'd have to feed them like little kids and stuff.
They might rape little kids for all I know.
Take their shoes off, yeah.
You think if there's a flat Earth that Bigfoot lives in the flat Earth
theory? On the other
theory,
side, he walks upside down. If he can make people black out in the fucking woods.
Yeah, but in the flat Earth theory, the reason why there's gravity is because we're constantly going up on a dish. So there's no way he could live on the other side.
All right.
It's inertia. According to flat earthers,
he probably lives on the edge.
Gravity isn't a real thing.
He probably lives on the edge of the flat Earth and just fucks you up
like
if you get too close to it.
Oh, I see. That kind of edge. I thought you meant like always fucking strung out.
The only people...
I'd be strung out if people are constantly looking for me too, and I was like, fucking leave me alone. I'd be constantly stressed out. Fuck.
If you were a Bigfoot, do you think you'd get bored of killing these, You probably would. You'd be like, I'm going to choke this one out and just fucking take his shoes off and put them next to him just to freak these fucking...
What if Bigfoot's really intelligent and he does this shit just to fuck with us?
You'd think
and then he watches all this shit from like a distance. He's like...
Yeah.
What if
he sees the commercials on TV like, fucking Sasquatch lives in Norway. I know that fucking guy. I'm the Bigfoot. I live in North America.
He's an asshole.
Sasquatch is a dick. He's a Nazi.
Yeah. Doesn't like brown fur.
He doesn't even like raping these kids. It's rule book Bigfoot 101.
Yeah.
Prehistoric ape monster 101. Rape the kids.
Yeah.
Everybody. Rape everybody.
Rape the kids. Steal the old people. Rape the kids.
Put the shoes next to them.
Yeah. Fold the clothes.
Fold the clothes.
Linens with the linen.
You know, dude, that could be the Bigfoot that kills these people and folds the clothes like he's just learning human behavior. He's like, oh, I finally got these clothes. I'm going to fold them like they do. Oh, look at that shit. I got to go.
I need more clothes to fold. You. There was one, talk to these crazy fucking stories. There was one case where a boy disappeared. He survived. When he was found, I don't know like how long it was. He was found in a bush. And he was brought in, and his parents the rescuer was like, what happened to you? And he was like in his catatonic state, so he didn't really respond. The next day when he finally got his bearings, he said, I don't know, I just kind of disappeared. He said, I was there, and then he goes, the next thing I remember is being in a cave.
I was over here, and then I'm over there.
He goes, I was in a cave, like, up a stream, or there was a stream next to the cave. He said it looked like there was a bunch of figures in the cave, but they weren't moving.
Action figures?
Probably like mannequins or whatnot. And he said there was an old lady in the cave.
Petrified bodies?
Looked
like a salt
just
cave?
like his grandmother. And he said the old lady was really nice, and she'd feed him. But he said she started to get pushy And this is where the fucking gets like I heard it, I'm like, what?
He's in a cave
said-
that he disappeared and woke up in a cave, and there's what looked like mannequins in there, but could be
Something like
calcified
robots
bodies.
or mannequins or something that didn't move.
And there's a woman in there that's feeding him,
There's
and she
an
was
old lady
nice
that
and-
looks like his grandmother that's in there. It's not his grandmother, but feeding him like berries and whatnot. He says she started to get pushy, and when she put down paper and wanted him to shit on the paper, and he said he didn't have to go, she got pissed and said, then he goes, I think that's when he like came to and all of a sudden was in the bush and was found.
So he ate a bunch of weird berries and had a hallucination about his grandmother telling him to take shits.
Maybe.
Because it's weird for kids when they take shits in their pants and stuff. As an adult, it's a normal thing, happens every day.
It does.
But when you're a kid, it's strange to go from diapers to...
There was another case in Florida where this
Fucking Cubans again, bro, I'm telling you.
No, this old woman went missing. She was found
Raped
alive.
by 12
she was
Cubans.
seen alive. She went missing, was gone they searched for her for like 6 weeks or so, and she was sighted. She was in a dress, like whatever, like fucking your average dress that an old lady would wear. I don't know what it looks like. Oh, like a
Hell
sundress.
Yep,
Something like
low
that. I don't
cut,
know.
old titties hanging out. Yeah, wrinkly.
How are we gonna get through this?
Florida tan, all dark and like cracked leather. Like alligator titties. All right, go ahead.
She was spotted wearing overalls picking berries.
Hell yeah.
Weeks later, they found her. They ended up finding her a couple weeks after she was spotted dead somewhere. No idea what happened to her clothes. No idea where she got those clothes from. And what they heard, like she was in immaculate condition, almost perfect condition when they found her.
Huh.
Something like that.
So she disappeared and then was spotted living in the wild with a pair of long overalls
Overalls.
she plucked off a clothesline somewhere and was foraging in the woods for food. And that was in Florida?
Yeah.
Florida. University of South Florida.
I don't know if that was Cubans. Maybe the Cubans gave them their work clothes or something.
They took her clothes, probably.
The Cubans were wearing sundresses.
Yeah.
They normally do that.
You don't know what they're up to. They might have been making flags for their pirate fucking ship out of them.
What?
Yeah.
Why am I not a Cuban? I want a pirate ship. Goddamn pirate ship.
I don't know. You're not wearing your shoes. You could be a fucking Cuban.
Hey.
You ever read the Bible?
Oh. Is that Cuban?
No, they don't. Most of them don't know how to read. You think they read the fucking Bible?
Is that who you're talking about? The other
They don't even
podcast?
use- bro,
Do
they-
they write with their feet?
They don't even use utensils. How are they going to say
that
grace?
wasn't even. That was. I can't even remember.
You
who
ever
that
see
was.
somebody say grace and eat with their hands? Cubans don't use utensils.
I eat with my hands. Wait a minute. I got to do a genealogy again.
I'd say you should, bro.
No, I like living in mystery.
Yeah, I think more
Shrouded
about
in
the
the
government
cloud.
jacking people out of the woods than. I mean, I like the Bigfoot thing, but Bigfoot to me seems like a monster. It just seems like a Frankenstein or a mummy, or like there's just one of them. Like it just seems more far fetched.
But by the same guy, David Palandis, there is he's actually touched base on like the whole Bigfoot thing, and there's a lot of studies. The people that are researching it that like find whatever hair and whatnot, and they've sent it for DNA testing. That it's not an ape man.
Mm-hmm.
It's people, like tribes of people.
Oh, really?
Just wild people. Yeah,
Huh,
it's
that's
not,
cool.
It's not this crazy.
I can get on
ape-man
board with
thing.
that.
But yeah, there's something to this Bigfoot thing, but it's not this like 8-foot monkey man, like mythological thing that
A bunch of
everyone's
little
like,
5 feet pygmy weirdos running out of the woods and snatching you up.
maybe. But yeah, so now they've discovered that it's actually human.
So, House of a Thousand Corpses.
Could be Dr. Satan.
But how do they know that they're uncivilized? There's like arrowheads and stuff like that, or
Most of the time that I don't know. I would say most of the time when they're reported, it's like some wild man looking thing with like overgrown hair and whatnot. So I suppose it could be a hippie.
Yeah.
Speaking of a hippie, now this goes back to today when I went hiking. Now, this is just fucking hilarious, and I couldn't get over this. So we're going into the park. There, you know, when you go into a park and you got to pay like whatever for parking, they have that one small shack thing with a guy sitting in it. And he's like gives you information of the park.
Yep.
So this guy is your cliche hippie looking guy. He's sitting there, bandana on, like this semi-long curly hair, like pushed up with
Sounds
a bandana.
like a real asshole.
Like that.
That guy must look like a douche, huh?
Yeah. He's got this big bushy beard.
Fucking tool.
Talking all like super polite and everything. He's like, oh yeah, bro.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Walk over there.
He's standing there as I'm trying to pull out the cash to give him for our parking ticket. This like Japanese beetle or something flies toward him. He starts flipping out. He's like, oh, sorry. And as he's like he's describing like different trails that we could take and go walking and everything. He's like, oh, sorry, I think it's an invasive species. I'm sitting there like, dude, it's like a fucking ladybug. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, the guy obviously he's deathly afraid of bugs. So why he's sitting in the middle of the high peaks like fucking Adirondack Lodge, I don't know. He's flipping out over like not even a June bug. It was like, you know those long beetles, like the black ones that fly around. They run into you and then they fucking fly away, or just crawl on your shirt and then fly away. Yeah, that's all it was. Nothing major. He's acting like it's that giant fucking wasp over in Africa or South America that it will just like kill you if it stings you once.
So when he said it was an invasive species. Was he saying that, or an invasive species? What was it? Was he saying that to, was he trying to kill it, or was he saying that
well, I don't know. He had a fly swatter.
So he was a fucking hippie that was going to kill a bug? Like,
he was afraid.
You can't really be a hippie and kill bugs and shit, can you?
Even a man that was like, you know, the way he handled that was just, I think he was afraid of bugs. Like, he was clearly afraid of it, because he was talking to us, and then it flew by him, and he goes... And then he just stops talking to us completely in the middle of a sentence of describing what things that we could do and like trails.
It's funny when people are afraid of bugs.
And he was like, "Sorry, I think it's an invasive species. Like it could be an endangered species."
I had a beetle, like a little black beetle. I was sitting at my table last night and I felt something walking on the back of my foot and I didn't know what it was. So I grabbed it and I saw that it was a bug and I did throw it, but I just went, oh, God damn it. Like I was just pissed it happened. It was like, oh, I held this bug in my, like, just because I did it accidentally. I wasn't like...
Wasn't expecting it?
Yeah. I was kind of, you know, it did jar me a little bit. But.
So, that made me laugh.
Scared hippie trying to kill bugs.
That has nothing to do with missing people, but boy, that made me laugh.
Like if you're a hippie and you're inherently a pussy, you can't try to kill bugs. You have to just be a pussy. You can't be a pussy and kill shit. You gotta pick one or the other. Either don't be a hippie and kill that fucking bug, or be a hippie and just be a pussy and put it in your pocket or something.
Man, he's undecided in life.
I guess. Undecided. It's my thing now.
Gimmick infringement.
Yeah, I lean more towards the government the more we talk about this.
For that case, definitely. I mean, we're not the government taking anything, but for that case, it definitely sounds like the government's like they know something, or they're just trying to keep it under wraps. What's said a lot is that a lot of the park rangers, or the higher ups in whatever the national park, whatever, is keeping everything under wraps, kind of like the mayor in Jaws.
Like the Vatican?
Yeah, no, like the mayor in Jaws, and he's like, oh, yeah, there's shark attacks going on and whatnot, but don't tell anyone because that's going to kill our business. And there's a lot of revenue that goes in national parks and whatnot, so.
So has this guy David Palladium ever looked at other disappearances in other countries and such?
Yeah, he's...
Has he ever branched out to like Mexico? Like he sells all these books. He takes a vacation to Mexico and is like, "Fuck it, I'll write one here."
Can I go to the moon? I want to know what he'll do if he gets his hands on the whole multiverse theory.
Multiple Bigfoots.
Can you imagine?
What kind of monsters do you think there is on the moon? skeletal astronauts that'll pull you into a cave, or just like worms or some shit.
Fucker knots and astro bastards.
Okay, there could be.
What if there's a hairless Bigfoot on the moon? A Cyclops hairless Bigfoot.
Why would he have to be hairless?
I don't know.
I don't know. What if there is? You tell me. How are we gonna get him?
Maybe that's why we don't go up there anymore.
We gotta be the ones to find him. Yeah, could be. Aliens is probably why you don't go up there.
What? Where? The way you said that just reminded me of fucking Dr. Steve Brule. I don't know.
I got probably 100 aliens. I got 100 skateboards.
Pizza. I hang out with aliens.
First base.
I don't care.
Touch a titty. Home run. Milk from
God, my dangus. That's who I need to get on this show.
Yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah, I know. Fuck me. Any other missing 411 stories you've heard?
Just the chick that fell off a mountain.
I keep trying to be one of the missing 411.
I think you can you can really parlay this into something with all your firemen and your EMT stuff like this guy did. Take what you learn in that and apply it to going into the woods.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You know what I was also thinking before you cut that off? You're kind of a fucking weird guy, James. That you're into search and rescue and you're also into horror movies and stuff, and you somehow combine your search and rescue and horror movies into loving people disappearing in the woods, and you want to go out in the woods and get disappeared yourself.
To find myself. It's a soul searching thing. This whole thing is a soul searching thing.
Or we gotta talk. You're a fucking weird guy. Turn that off, man.